What do you say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging dare? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, morning, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing F1 2017 Season 14 Round 15 here at the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia. My name is King-Kodiak and I will be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box once again is my faithful companion, the Lord of the Airways, Mr. Hamish Sopwith.
Yes, good evening, everybody. And boy, I think we have got a good race in our hands today. We've got 18 drivers. And the strategy for this race should be super varied. I'm told that the qualifying's been very close from the practice sessions the drivers have done together. So in just 12 minutes, we will find out who our pole sitter is going to be.
Now, yesterday we saw a hell of a lot of action in the sprint series that I was able to commentate on. Quite a lot of mishaps in some slightly unusual places, but nevertheless, it was some excellent, really close driving. Very, very intense. Now, if I bring up the championship positions for our league, just double check that's done that. Yes, it has. Apologies for that pause menu coming up. You can see it's very, very close at the top of both tables, particularly our constructors. With Formula Danny taking the lead with 204 points, but only 8 behind him is Tim, and only 20 further back is Topa. His recent surge has really brought him back into the championship fight. And at the top of the Constructors' Championship, 256 separates Haas. Is Haas at the top of the table, but only 7 points down is Mercedes, and then just another 8 down is Toro Rosso. So a great, very, very close battle going on here, as we've got a number of drivers now making their way onto their qualifying laps on the Supersoft tyres. Looks like everybody is running that in what would seem to be a very dry session at the moment.
Yeah, Malaysia is known for its extreme weather variation, so it'll be interesting to see if we get any of that today. Impulse Racer is out of the pit lane first. He's coming up to the final few corners, that really difficult sweeping right-hander of pretty much 12 all the way to 14. You really need to hit the exit, the apex of 14, but not a sort of miss turn 13. Otherwise, it really compromises your line. It's one of the most difficult corners on the F1 calendar.
Oh, he's gone very deep then into 15, but probably by design then to get a very wide entrance to that final turn and to then fly down the long start finish straight. Then let's have a ride on board with Impulsive Racer in the McLaren then. Heavy on the brakes, a little bit of a lock up on that right into turn 1. Now switch over to the left, down another gear into second for turn 2. Now long sweeping turn 3. If you are still side by side, and we did see it a few times through 1 and 2, that battle carries on all the way down here to the next heavy braking zone of 4, down to third. Let it run wide, but don't get too greedy on the curves. Now wander back over to the right for the sweeping fast 5, down a gear into turn 6 then. We saw a few mistakes in this double, it's technically 2 corners, but it's treated as a double apex turn, and he's gone slightly wide there. That could have invalidated Impulsive Racer's lap. Now heavy braking zone then, down to second gear again for turn 9. Tail gets a little bit happy. Now right-hander of 10, and then as the decreasing apex of turn 11, he's got Khan Renegade ahead of him, who has dutifully pulled over. We've got a problem in sector 2, it would seem. Now sweeping 12 and 13, as Hamish described. You get that wrong and you will compromise your exit into 14, which then compromises you all the way down this very long straight, heading down, as we picked him up earlier, heading towards turn 15. DRS wide open, of course. Big heavy braking zones, very easy to get that wrong as well. Of course, people can be caught out by people going into the pits on that last turn then, as he floors it. Gets the first lap on the board of, let's see what it is, a 1:31.0.
No, I went oh wow because I thought that as because I just read the end figure. I expected drivers to be into the 30s, and as we,
like so.
I think Danny is already there, so is Timp.
Yeah.
We should be expecting a low 1:30 today, probably a 0.1, 0.3, something like that. So
Ooh,
is
Feeler, look at that. Feeler actually jumps into the top spot with a 1:30.7. Look at that. The top 3 separated by less than 15 thousandths of a second at the moment. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Especially because this is quite a long track, remember?
It is,
I mean,
yeah. It's 5.5 kilometers long. Topar! There's another one. And still, it's not even 50 thousandths of a second that separates the top 4, even with Topar's time in there.
Yeah,
Brendan!
Good
God!
Brendan.
Considering Brendan has just been taking part in the Race of Champions, he still sticks it on pole. Still somewhere to go in qualifying, of course, but wow, he's not suffering much at the moment, it would seem. Fair play to Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan's focus on this week would not have been on this F1 race, since obviously winning esports. I'm sure he gets invited and asked to do a whole load of things. It's interesting, you know how we saw Impulse Racer, he slightly messed up that final corner as we were on board with him. Although that's one of the corners where you actually really don't need to hit the apex. You can carry the same amount of speed if you miss the apex completely, so it's not a catastrophe if you don't hit.
We saw a few people actually retire where we've just seen Topa go through. That's the turn 7 and 8. That's 2 corners, although treated as a long sweeping right. What people were doing, they were getting too greedy, going too wide out there and spinning and smashing into the wall. That actually separates that straight from the long penultimate straight. So we saw that a few times. It'll be interesting to see if people push it a little bit too hard today as well, trying to gain some time as most people are coming back into the pits. Then look at that, a second separates first to 14th.
Wow.
Marcel Kiefer, wow, out of nowhere in the Haas. 1:30.6 dethrones Brendan Lee by less than half a tenth. Sorry, not even that. 43 thousandths of a second. Goodness me, that's first to 6th is not even 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, I know, it's quite incredible. I mean, we were saying last week in Singapore how varied the times were, but boy, they're definitely not this time round. They're super close. So first to 15th are within the second. Which is what we've became pretty much used to over the course of this season. It looks like Brendan is coming into the pits to get a fresh set of boots onto his Red Bull.
I've just been given a rather interesting piece of weather information. It's light rain to start with.
Ah, that is interesting. Strategy, for any of you who are wondering, is very much a 50-50 1 or 2 stop round here. Some of the drivers will be doing a definite one stop, so it'll be a super soft soft. Some will be doing a two stop, which will probably be a super soft, soft, super soft.
But that's going to be interesting with rain in the mixture as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are we going to see some drivers gambling by running those intermediate tires for longer to try and just get that only one stop in? Or will they be forced to do a two stop? We will find out fairly soon.
First to 15th is within that 1 second gap to first now, and even outside of that is Kalon Fizzy and Raiko Gordon. Raiko not yet setting a time. Formula Danny is first to come back out, it would seem. There he is, the Haas cars, first and fifth at the moment. Formula Danny, of course, as previously mentioned, is our championship leader. But it's all to play for. There's 150 points still available, and mathematically that does actually go down to Raven in fifth position. Just going to double check something in my stream. Yep, that's fine. Thank you. Although Raven and Sven are quite some considerable distance points-wise from the top, so it would take extraordinary circumstances for them to get it. So it really is in the hands of, it's a three-way race between Danny, Timp and Topar. So Topar, since Silverstone's done second, 3 consecutive firsts, and then second last week. So Topar has got the momentum, but Formula Danny was winner last week out, so let's it is all to play for in those top 3.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed Timp's performance has pretty much dropped off. I mean, as soon as Topar started winning, who Timp was under the most pressure, back in Silverstone, he just seems to not have been performing. Like, you know, Timp has had a second, a fifth, an eighth, and a 14th last week.
It was rather it was unlucky last week to get crashed against the barrier.
Fortunately, you know, you make your own mistakes, and that's what happened to Timp last week. So, will he have the speed to contend for the win? He's currently only 2/10 behind the pole time.
Absolutely. And Formula Danny then just shaping up to start his next time lap, then taking that wide line through turn 15. Of course, not the quickest way to race through it, but it does guarantee a faster exit, which is of course what they're after. And you carry that speed a very, very long way. I think am I right in saying that's the longest straight in the calendar? It's one of.
No, it is one of. I think it's pretty much identical to Canada. Not Canada. To
China.
China.
Yeah.
That straight is about 1,030 meters long. So that's how long it is for anyone interested.
And the track.
Baku has that ultra long flat section as well.
True. And this track is 5.5 kilometers long, pretty much almost 2 kilometers taken up in those two straights. It's about 1.5-ish taken up in just the start-finish straight and the penultimate straight. So very, very technical track. So something else that we tried to predict last week with downforce levels. Both myself and Hamish kind of guessed that people would be sticking their downforce through the roof to try and get as much traction and what have you through the streets of Singapore. We were completely wrong. People were running 5-6 and putting the ballast towards the back. By and large, from what I was informed later, it was just like, really? And you were cornering that quickly? Wow. So I'm never making a prediction ever again when it comes to downforce levels.
Yeah, I mean, we can only ever really guess what people might be using. I mean, it's quite easy to tell if someone's faster in straight, and let's see what Danny can do. It's a 30.6. It's not ideal, to be honest, but because I don't know if he's going to be able to do another run. I think he's going to give it a go, though.
Well, the fuel line's not on, so he could well do, and that puts him...
fuel.
Yeah, 0.071 from the pole. My God, it is so close.
I know. You can't. That's about like, it's like blinking. Like if you blink, you're gonna miss it. Who else is on a fast lap? I imagine Brandon even is just coming down.
You still struggle with this.
I know. I think it's because one of my best mates is called Brandon.
It's a Brandon, yeah.
Unfortunately, he's coming through turn 3 to turn 4. Now this is quite a interesting corner because it is off camber then on camber. Or on camber, then off camber, and it's really difficult. And then turn 5, what flows through to 6, is super technical. It's almost flat out, but not quite. 7 and 8, again, a super difficult corner to get right. you're shifting down a couple of gears, and then you've got turn 9. This is difficult and very wet because you can look up
a new pole sitter! Impulsive racer in the McLaren.
So our predictions are a 30-point.
Bloomin' hell, Marcel again is just retaken.
Wow.
It's just retaken. We got a problem in Sector 2. We don't know who that is. Marcel Kiefer's just taken it again. I wonder if that was non-runner.
Danny's coming across the line any second now. It is. Oh, it's quick. It's 0.4.
Oh, 0.066 off the pole time. Oh, Brendan's retired from the session. I think he hadn't crashed it. He just made a few too many mistakes. So he will be starting.
This is quick as well. He's already 4,000ths up.
Oh, crikey. Got to think that's just 1.5 tenths. He's got a gain. And Fizzy has retired from the session. Assuming he's just put that back in the pits. That's just
Topaz's gone quick as well. He's got a 30.6.
Fourth for Topaz, so he's just dethroned Brendan then from the spot. Isaac Price has put it in ninth. Oh, that is Timp has put it in third.
Wow.
How many more people can we squeeze into a tenth of a second, for God's sake?
Well, Impulse Racer is down by 600ths of a second. The last corner wasn't ideal. Got the DRS open now. Coming all the way down to the final corner, turn 15. Is he going to hit the apex, or is he going to decide to take it wide? He's taking it wide, early on the throttle, get the DRS open. The line comes pretty quickly, and it is a 30.4. It's faster! Wow!
3 drivers within a tenth. Tim
gained a tenth in that second.
My goodness me. I mean, that is everybody. Everyone is... Oh, no, Marcel. Oh, there we go. Once again, Marcel was actually deemed to be still on a lap. But what a incredibly close qualifying session that was. Marcel Kiefer getting a spectacular pole. And there's the confirmed results. So, Mr. Hamish, take it away.
You say Kodiak, Marcel Kiefer. He's the only driver into the 130.3s. I mean, 600ths of a second's quite a lot in this split.
Yeah.
We've got Formula Danny, the winner of the esports, in second place. Those two drivers have raced against each other plenty of times before. Impulse Racer, good job from him, from McLaren. Tim back on form, it seems, with a 4th. Sven in 5th. Topar in 6th, he's not going to be happy with that. ACR Failer in 3rd. Brendan Lee in 8th place. David Greco, another fantastic qualifying.
We didn't really see that pop up, didn't we?
P12 last week, and Isaac Price.
Rounding out the top 10, absolutely. Right, as we then head down to the grid for this 50% distance, the Haas drivers, and there is the light rain. Dying! There's the car acrobatics we saw also in yesterday's sprint race as well. So, yeah, the Haas drivers both on the front row. My goodness me. That's going to do their bit of team morale pretty good. So,
is indeed.
But it's all dependent on what setup gambles people are going to be going for. Are they going to be gearing towards hoping that the rain lasts, or are they going to stick with the dry setup and hope that the rain goes pretty quickly? This is where it gets really interesting, is where tactics will start to play a role. Maybe that could be a reason why Brendan is a little bit further down the grid than we're used to seeing him. So we will see what is about to happen then as we now go down to the grid. Here they come then. 5 lights. Wind them up and let them go. What a belting start then from Marcel Kiefer. Formula Danny trying to keep up. You've got that's the Toro Rosso Tim trying to get somewhere. Oh, that's the not a good start by Impulsive Racer with the McLaren. Oh my God, 4 wide as they're going into turn 1. Marcel looks like he's going to hang on to that. Timp's in trouble, I think. Oh no, he's just in the middle of a lot of cars. Oh goodness me, that's the Haas of Formula Danny getting battered around. He's falling through the field. Not a great start from him. He's now down to 5th position. As Impulsive Racer and Sven swap positions. Sven's had a cracking start in the Renault, but there's so much going on as there usually is. That's Impulsive Racer trying to keep Timp at bay. David Greco's then up to 6th position. Good start for him. Failer has gone down to 7th. Car Renegade is having a storming start. There he is in the Ferrari. He's up to 7th. Positions swaps going on all around the field, but Marcel Kiefer is gone. Look at that. He's already got over 7/10 of a lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Noah's Ark from Car Renegade all the way down to Fizzy in P18. I mean, everyone's pretty much 2 by 2. How close is this? We've seen quite a lot of action at the back. Car Renegade almost lost it as well on the exit of turn 3. at the beginning. Oh,
trouble! It's Isaac Price! Isaac Price, yeah, he's just fallen through the field in the Mercedes. He's spun. I think that's turn. Blah, blah. I've actually lost track of where they are. That is coming through. I think it's 9, 10, and 11 they've just gone through. Let's jump back up to the front. There's Formula Danny and David Greco swapping positions. The Haas trying to get through on David Greco in the Sauber. And look at that. Formula Danny's having to go very, very wide, trying to do something about it. But Sven is now that he's a bit clear. Sven's actually 9/10 clear of Impulsive Racer. So now he's going to start chasing after Marcel Kiefer, but they're so close further behind.
Yeah, I mean, Tim and Danny, I mean, they've had opposite race starts. You've had Danny who's lost 4 and David who's gained 4. So
yeah.
Pretty good from him. Sven, what a start he had. He's at 3 positions and he has been closing the gap. Whether he's just managing it at the moment, they have about the same amount of fuel. Sometimes it's different, you know, if someone's running rich and someone's running like standard or something, that doesn't obviously affect lap time.
David Greco and Formula Danny, they've been side by side for the first 3 turns. Then as David Greco in the Sauber slides through the inside of 4, overshoots, he can't slow it down. Formula Danny then's going to get a switch back. Now they're going to come for that sweeping left-hander of 5, still side by side. Now it's going to switch back to the right, so that's going to leave the advantage back to Formula Danny. He's going to run the Sauber wide.
Oh, Greco's got wide. Car Renegade's going to have a look around the outside of 7 and 8, is he? He's going to get possibly. Oh no! Looks like
dear. There's Brendan.
Brendan came through on the inside.
Whoa! That's the Ferrari. That's Car Renegade getting very, very out of shape. He's trying to keep Topaz. Topaz had a terrible start. He's trying to make up some places. He's down. Well, it's now down 3 because he's just gone past Car Renegade. So yeah, the new championship protagonist is trying to make his way back through the field. He's now got ACR Failure directly ahead of him. But look at that, and Sven Cerner is right with Marcel Kiefer. Marcel getting that early advantage. That's now pretty much all gone, as Sven is right on his tail. But if they slow each other down too much, Impulsive Racer's not far behind, and they're dragging Timp with them.
Yeah, I mean, Car Renegade, we were commenting on a moment ago how good a start he had. He's down in 10th again. He was up in P7, I'm pretty sure, not that long ago. We've got pretty much a train all the way down from, well, Impulse Racer, all the way down to, in fact, pretty much down to Fizzy.
Wow. So it's always a lot of outbreaking going on, which is fairly predictable. And the wet Sven Cerner having a look on the inside of turn 1. Couldn't quite get the traction he needs. Marcel Kiefer well defended through 2. Now gets the inside for 3. Sven does look like he's got the extra pace when he needs it. He's coming through 3. Now he's going to try for the inside of 4. He's going to try and outbrake the Haas. There he goes. Can Sven Cerner hang on to it? He lost a little bit too much pace. Oh, but the big old moment of oversteer then from the Haas, and Sven Cerner's in the lead.
Wow, we've had some pretty fantastic racing, especially in this section. We had the amazing battle of Greco and Danny, although David Greco's just lost a position to Brendan, who's taken him, in fact, on the same place where Danny re-overtook him. So that's obviously not his favourite part of the racetrack. Impulsive
Racer then half a second down from the Marcel Kiefer Sven Cerner battle. The Sven Cerner has yet to break away from the Haas of Marcel Kiefer. He will have some slipstream, but unfortunately he's losing the downforce out when he desperately needs it through those long corners. The rain, there looks like there's a few gaps in the clouds, but those gaps could take a long time to clear. Not a lot of standing water. Oh, Sven getting very deep then on that's turn 14. That's going to compromise his exit, although again Marcel struggled to get the power down when he particularly wanted it to. Let's see what Impulsive Racer and the McLaren's able to do. He's keeping pace but not able to close that down. ACR Timp, you've just seen him go through the background. There's our championship leader. He's 1.5 seconds down from ACR Timp at the moment. Still a long way to go. But it is all kicking off then as they start to settle into their rhythm. Sven, of course, getting the fastest lap. But if he set this up for rain and the rain doesn't last, that could backfire. That could come back to bite Sven Cerner.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm just looking at the gaps now. The biggest gap we have is Kalon Non-Runner in 13th and 14th, which is just 1.5 seconds. So this is very reminiscent of Russia, where we haven't really seen any gaps forming at the moment, and no one's getting any warning issues or penalties by the looks of it anyway. Impulse Racer is seemingly just, as you alluded to earlier, hanging on to the top 2. But is Marcel Kiefer, is he going to be able to close in on Sven Zerner and re-overtake him for the lead? Because Sven has had an absolute storming 4 laps.
Absolutely. So it does look like that the Renault has the pace at the moment to stay out there. But it all depends on when the weather's going to change. So the top 4 are fairly spread out as far as sort of attacking positions concerned. Kalon is falling through the field. No sooner do you mention him, I've just seen him falling through the field, unfortunately, in the Toro Rosso. Has he lost some wing? No, the elements still seem to be there. He's just not having a good run in the Toro Rosso in the wet weather. There's so many battles going on. Let's have a look at Topar then, as he is on the back of a 3-car train. David Greco, Failer, and of course himself. This that is 7th, 8th, and 9th. You can see he's all over the back of Failer, but can he do anything about it in these very tricky conditions?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, that really difficult 13-14 we've been talking about, that's where you can make or break an awful lot of time here, and it looks like, is David Greco going to have on Bradley? No, not quite. DRS isn't open at the moment, although it might be enabled depending on what the stewards think the race conditions are like. But yeah, a lot of times to be gained on 13-14 at the moment in the wet conditions. So that is where the drivers, I think, will be planning their overtakes.
Wow, what a train that is forming behind Brendan Lee. Not because of Brendan Lee, I would hasten to add, as there's about 9/10 between himself and David Greco. But that is quite a long chain from 6th down to, well, certainly 10th. There's very, very little between them. But where there is a gap growing is right at the front here. There's Marcel Kiefer in 2nd. Whoa! Getting very, very sideways. That was a lovely bit of drifting going on there. But that is not going to help his charge. That is the gap between himself and Sven Zerner, the race lead. So Sven is certainly now. Does it look like it's stopped raining to you?
Yes, I'm not seeing any rain. Interestingly, as you say, Matt, Max, one of the drivers, who is being replaced by, who's he being replaced by today? It's not Greco or something, is it?
I think it is David Greco, yeah.
It just told us if it continues to rain, it should be a 1 stop on these intermediate tyres.
Yeah, but that rain has stopped. That rain has definitely stopped. Speaking of, oh goodness me! Just as I actually clicked away from Marcel Kiefer, he got very, very squirrely on the watching Tim actually do the same thing. They went a little bit wide, got onto the outside markings and just got very, very wide. Then no one's coming in just yet, which is quite wise. You wouldn't want to come in that early. The rain has we're seeing some water streaming down the camera as we're watching from Impulsive Racer, looking at the back of Marcel Kiefer. And whoa, no sooner do I say no one's pitting, Formula Danny is in. Oh, he was locked out right to the speed line, so and he didn't look to get a penalty. And Carl Hamilton is also in. Is he going on to dry tyres already?
Surely not. Well, I mean, I did see broken clouds facing east. That is down that back.
Soft tyres. Soft tyres. Just too early, surely.
I would have thought so. There is a bit of a dry line.
You nearly said white line.
3 drivers had white line. Yeah, dry line in forming. However, 3 drivers have pitted, so they're obviously confident. I mean, Danny wasn't in a bad position, so that's very brave of him to come in.
It's risky. He's very, very
dawdling.
risky.
He's really dawdling. Oh, he's almost spun on the X. Oh dear, this isn't good for Danny.
But looking up here, back up to the battle for 2nd, Marcel Kiefer, Impulsive Racer, and ACR Timp. Very, very short succession. Sven Zerner 1.8 down the road. There you see him at the top of the shot. So he's in a relatively safe position. Look how sideways that Haas is. He's struggling to get the power down when he needs it. Topar now beginning to move through the field. So as this track starts to dry out, it looks like the setup on the Mercedes is starting to come good. And that is Impulsive Racer that is just caught behind Marcel Kiefer. Can't use that extra pace he seemed to have. Whoop, a bit of a lag moment there.
Oh, yeah, I had that as well.
Yeah, that's a bit strange. But that possibly caught Impulsive. Oh, that's a very weird lag going on there for Impulsive Racer. Whoa, as ACR same mammoth. Oh, goodness me! Now, there we go. That's what I thought was. There's obviously a bit of lag going on for Impulsive Racer. Was that Tim coming in the pits? Yes, it was.
It is Tim coming into the pits.
Now I think that's a better time to do it. Oh, we've got a problem. We've got a problem.
Yes, it's Carl Hamilton. He's stuffed it in the wall at turn. I can't even tell you. I think it's like
turn
2.
And he's out. He has decided to retire the car. That is... I'm not 100%. I think it's turn 9 where he's been that. We got a whole stream of cars. Kalon, Car Renegade, Non-Runner, David Greco and ATR Tim all coming into the pits. Medium tyres for Tim? Really?
I'm sorry, Kodiak. I think they're all making the wrong decision. I'm pretty sure Formula Danny was really, really struggling. I mean, you can just see how far behind he is with everyone else pitting now. He's 40 seconds behind the race leader. He's lost so much time.
Now, Greco's come back out on Inters. Now, that's going to be interesting to see what he does. Now, why would he pit so... I can't imagine the tyres are chewed up that badly. Sven Cerner's 4 seconds ahead of Marcel Kiefer. Marcel is just not doing well in these wet conditions at the moment. He is falling back. He's taking Impulsive Racer with him. Brendan's now up to 4th position, 4 seconds down from this particular battle. Topar 5th, again, obviously due to others pitting. I think, yeah, Formula Danny is just a considerable way back, pitting that little bit too early. But
yeah,
this is the strategy gamble you gain. You could either call it absolutely perfectly, or you just completely throw your race away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as drivers, you always have races like this. Doesn't matter what category it is. And Greco's going very wide here. I'd say that actually it's probably about even at the moment. He probably shouldn't have gone to Inter. Probably should have left him on. But part of being a good driver is just knowing when to come in.
Impulsive Racer did manage to take second on the inside of turn 15. Marcel Kiefer is in. So is Topar and Brendan Lee. So they've all come in, along with Seagrove for the McLaren as well. So another batch of pitters. Let's see what they all go on to. Marcel... Whoops, non-runner getting a 5-second penalty. That's medium tyres for him. Brendan... Looks like the same on the Red Bull. Yes, it is. Topar's gone for soft tyres, so Fizzy's coming as well in the Pink Panther. Seagrove's coming out on the soft as well. You can still see spray coming off the back of the tyres. Okay, that's in the pit lane of Grundy, where there's going to be very little water clearage.
And on track as well. I've noticed there's a bit of spray coming off the tyres on track.
Fizzy's coming out on the mediums.
It'd be interesting now. These Inter runners, that's Isaac Price and 5th, all the way up to Sven, are all on Inters. Will they be able to somehow get a gap? We've seen David Greco. Oh, he's catching up with Topar, who... I've gone quicker. None of these, dry tyre runners have gone any quicker. They're all going a little bit slower than the Inter.
And, quite a few people still on those Inter tyres. Let's bring up the tyre selection. There you go. You've got, half a dozen drivers still on the Inters. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, Sven Cerner, Impulsive Racer, Fader, Nobody, and Isaac Price, as well as David Greco in 10th. Still running their starting intermediate tyres. So it will be interesting to see how long they're able to go. Just watching Sven. Does he come in? He does. The race leader then is getting rid of those soft tyres. I think that's a far better time to have called it. DRS is also enabled now. Well, Marcel Kiefer is in trouble. Marcel Kiefer has just fallen through the field. He's lost a whole bucket load of positions he's on those medium tyres. So, but the track could... Whoops, Car Renegade gave himself a 3-second penalty there. So the top 5, all of the top 5 runners that were on the Inters are now in. That just leaves David Greco, who, unfortunately, I think he's going to rue the decision of staying on those Inters.
No, Kodiak, sorry. I've just had a look. Greco is indeed on the soft compact.
Makes much more sense. So the game is lying to me again as Timp gets the fastest lap then on those medium tyres. Is he going to... Where is Sven? He's already out, so Sven actually maintained the lead. Wow. He's out on the medium tyres, so he's not looking to come in again. But Tim's tyres are already up to temperature. Timp just coming through turn 3. He's got 5.5 seconds between himself and Sven Cerner. Now, Sven obviously had the pace in the wet. Let's see if he's able to maintain that in the dry. Brendan Lee, look at that. He's up to 3rd already on Tim's case. So don't discount the Red Bull just yet.
Yeah, he's doing really well. I mean, Sven, though, what an awesome strategy. He's gained 5 seconds. He's had a free 5 seconds, pretty much. Because before he was, Marcel Kiefer was behind him by, what was it, a 0.9 or something, or about a second. So
that was increasing lap and lap. I think Marcel just fell off the back. He was over 4 seconds at the point of pit stop. We're looking at Marcel Kiefer at the moment. He's all over the back at Seagrove for that 8th position, but you can see quite a few cars already ahead. So there's ACR Failer. You can see in the Sauber then David Greco, the next Sauber in 6th. There's Topar not too far up the road either. So if Marcel Kiefer starts to get some traction, he could gain a few places. If Failure's actually on the super soft tyres. Now, that is an interesting call.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, if you're on the super softs, I doubt you won't be able to go to the end.
No.
I mean, these tyres should last around 11, I don't know, maybe 13 laps or 14 laps.
Which one, sorry?
So, the super soft tyres should last around, 13, 14 laps. So that would take us to what? Well, lap 20. Oh, I don't know. Might not be too far off, I suppose. It would take you up to lap 24 of 28.
Topar gets his name on the fastest lap board on the soft-tyred, soft-shod Mercedes, as David Greco has, I'm assuming he's decided to come in the pits. Oh no, he's just struggling in the Sauber. Of course, he's not actually on the Inters. What did you just say was on the softs?
He's on the soft compound, the yellows. So.
I mean, there was no reason to change for intermediate tyres when he came in, so that makes perfect sense.
It was very bizarre considering everyone else on tries.
Absolutely, yeah. That's is there something you know the rest of us don't kind of moment there. So Sven Senna then continues to lead by 5 seconds over ACR Tim. Brendan Lee is half a second behind the Toro Rosso. The top three, I believe, are on the same tyres. Yes, they are. So the top three are on mediums. Then you have Impulsive Racer in fourth position. There he is on the soft tyres with Topar in a very short succession. Then ACR Failure on the super softs, which is an interesting idea. We'll see how well that does him. David Greco is actually on the soft tyres as well in the Sauber in 7th position with Segro and Marcel Kiefer in very, very short succession. That leads you down to 9th with Car Renegade rounding out that top 10.
Yeah, I mean, Car Renegade and Nobody have been having a fantastic little battle for P10. Nobody seems to have the pace. And he's got the DRS now. It has been enabled, and it looks like Sven set fast lap 37.8, and Nobody's going on the inside. Is he going to get a championship point? At least for now. Yes, he has. So decent overtake there by him.
Topar is on the move then. He's, of course, on the softer tyres than those ahead of him. Impulsive Racer, of course, but Impulsive Racer giving Topar the DRS. Still half a second separating Brendan Lee and Tim as ACR Nobody and Car Renegade continue their battle. Oh, a bit of wheel banging between the Ferrari and the Haas. And the Haas trying to get them back on the inside at turn 2, but well defended there by ACR Nobody. Car Renegade, well defended by Car Renegade, I beg your pardon. That's actually Formula Danny, so I'm looking at the wrong two names there. That's Car Renegade and Formula Danny. That's a battle for 11th position. There's ACR Nobody that just went out of the shot. So that's Formula Danny. Exactly as we said earlier, it's one mistake or one mishap in a race can really hurt the championship charge. He may well be leading the championship at the moment, but if they finish where they were, Tim would overtake him.
Would he? No, I don't think he would. But he'd be an awful lot, a damn sight closer. Tim's 33 points behind, isn't he? Am I reading it wrong?
For what? From Danny? Not according to the list I have. No, Topar is 33 behind. Probably not.
I've got. Hang on, let me have a look.
Oh no! Beg your pardon. Yeah, the list I'm looking at is incorrect. Yeah, 33 points does, because we were talking about this off air. That Danny does have a race victory in hand, but that he doesn't want to use it. He wants to kind of keep that gap as much as he can. Failure on the super soft shot Sauber then getting fastest lap, which he's the only one running the super softs.
Yes, it was he the only one, or did we comment that someone else was on those as well? No, he is the only one.
I think he's the only one on the super softs. Oh, look at this. This is the battle for second position. ACR Tim at the front of this particular train. Brendan Lee to 3/10, not even 3/10 down, but Impulsive Racer only half a second back, and there he is in the McLaren.
Oh! Danny's made a massive mistake. He's just went off on the grass, and he's lost 2 positions there to Isaac and Car Renegade, I think.
Oh dear, it's getting from bad to disastrous then for our championship leader. It is going horribly wrong. Back up to this position battle then for second. There they are. There's the 3, and there's at the top of the shot is Topar. He's on the same tyres as the McLaren. Surely then Impulsive Racer can really start to put a cat amongst the pigeons here. He's got the softer tyres, and they're all of roughly kind of similar age. Everyone kind of pitted within 2 to 3 laps of one another. So we will see if Impulsive Racer is able to put the pressure on Brendan, who then, of course, that's going to back him off from Tim, so Tim could start to run down the road. But Sven is now 5.5 seconds in the lead.
Yeah, also talking about the tyres, the initial wear, because the track was still a little bit damp, isn't as significant as it is when it's fully dry. Impulse Racer are really having a look at Brandon there. So they have pretty much all weared at around the same, the same amount, and the faster laps are still tumbling. Topart with 34.1.
Oh, the McLaren's going to dive on the inside, try and do something against Brendan Lee. Can't quite get his nose in where he needs to at the moment, but he is right under the diffuser of Brendan Lee. That's, of course, bringing Topar into this equation as well. Let's get on board with the McLaren again. Now is he going to have a look on the inside of turn 4? Brendan feeling the need to defend that inside line. Oh, again, very nearly in, but I think there was a slight nudge there from the McLaren. Neither of them suffering too badly, but look at the gap that Tim has got for himself already. He's nearly out of DRS range of Brendan. That's exactly what Brendan didn't want. But
absolutely.
Oh, that positive racer nearly runs wide then on the exit of turn 6. Now the double right-handers 7 and 8. Oh, again, we saw so many people just overcooking it there and slamming it into the wall. Now big braking zone as Car Renegade gets himself a 3-second penalty. Tib hasn't quite managed to break the DRS range at the moment, but Impulsive Racer, you know he's going to be sticking that nose onto the inside somewhere as they now come through 12 and 13. Surely he's not going to try to dive into 14. No, things better at that one. He's looking to try and get a better drive. Oh, well parked on the apex then by Brendan. And oh dear, that's a big chunk of wing missing from the McLaren.
And I don't think it is. Is it? Oh, I thought it might have been from Topar, because Topar actually hit the back of a McLaren.
Oh, was it?
As well. And it looks like Topar's going to have a look at the McLaren, not able to do anything. He's super close. He's got the DRS open. Is he running wings? Possibly, because he has overtaken the McLaren. They're side by side coming into turn 1. Late braking from Impulse Racer. Both of them catching up significantly with Brandon Lee. Topar's going to have the inside line. This is quite important, and better traction through turn 3.
I think Impulsive Racer let the Mercedes go there, but he's not letting him to go too far. He's let the position go, and sometimes it's better to do that rather than keep holding each other up. Car Renegade is in trouble, I think. Oh no, Car Renegade and Isaac Price having a battle down there, 11th to 13th. But keeping an eye very much firmly fixed on this battle here. Brendan's got a little bit of breathing space, but I think Impulsive Racer has got a problem. He seemed very, very slow coming through the last few turns. I think he has lost him front wing. That's ACR failure. That is pretty much easy pass on the outside of the McLaren. Oh, goodness me, that's coming through turn 9. Yeah, it looks like I would suspect there's damage on Impulsive Racer because he's fallen 3 places.
It's awful. Failure's actually been quietly catching up while these guys have been battling, so that's good for him. And Timp has been closing in on Sven. He's closed in by about 0.5 of a second in the last 2 laps.
Whoa, that's close. That's Topar and is that Topar and Failure? Yeah, it was Topar and Failure. I think Topar was very, very wide on the exit of 14, and that put the Sauber right on his case. Interesting, different choice of line. I don't know whether Topar, I think, might have outbraked himself there. It looked like they were choosing slightly different lines to get on board with the Sauber. Can he do anything? DRS open on Topar, so he must have been within a second of Brendan at the point of DRS detection. Failures thinking about an outside move there, decides better of it. Brendan's now got himself some breathing space to try and re-close down that gap between himself and Tim, but that's over a second as well, so he's lost DRS to the one ahead, but Failure is not giving up on that one easily at all.
Yeah, interestingly, the DRS detections in the middle of turn 12 and 13, where that little bit of straight track is. So if you are able to get an overtake in turn 13-14, you actually have the advantage of overtaking and getting the DRS. And there's only one. There's not 2 detection points, although there are 2 DRS activations.
Another battle that's going on here is the other McLaren of Segro that is all over the back of David Greco. So there's 6-10 separating those two. There's a bit of a gap between Greco and Impulsive Racer, but Impulsive is falling badly back from ATR Failure and the gap in the battle he was in, so he is losing time hand over fist. Segro keeping the pressure on David Greco. This is for 7th position.
No, Isaac's just been tagged by non-runner or vice versa. They sort of collided and Isaac just span round 360.
Oh dear, Isaac has not had a great deal of luck since joining the league, sadly. But he's trying his best nonetheless. Let's jump back up to this position, a battle for third then. Brendan Lee is out of DRS range from Timp. As previously mentioned, Topar getting again the fastest lap, but he's got ATR Failure right with him. And it does look like Failure is going to be shaping up for a move on the Mercedes at any given moment. Now through turn 1. Failure going for a slightly wider line through 2, but it didn't really pay off for him, as Topar has got his sights very firmly fixed. Formula Danny's in the pits. Oh my goodness me.
Ooh.
He can't have burned those softs up already, surely. That's got to be a win.
Very good, though. His tyres look really worn. I don't know if he's...
Straight tyre change.
Yeah, just same... he's got a 5-second penalty, has he?
Did he?
He must have.
I guess so, because he was sat there for a while. I don't remember that one being announced, but... oh dear. That's pretty much the end of Formula Danny's races. He is now plumb last. That is going to be pretty devastating. He'll, as mentioned earlier, he will maintain the championship lead, but that lead is going to be very, very strongly diminished after this round is done. Unless, of course, we start having retirements further up the field, but we will see as the race goes on. We've already gone over halfway. It's been such a great race. We're already over half distance in this particular race. On board with Topar, trying to keep pace with Brendan. Still within DRS range of the Red Bull. Now DRS open on the Mercedes. Is he going to be able to close in before 10:15? No, not quite. Brendan.
He's got another stamp though. Interesting for Topar now. His eyes are only on Timp. He probably doesn't really care about Failer, Brandon, Sven. He doesn't really care where they finish. He is only going to be focusing on Timp. He needs to beat Timp. If he beats Timp now, that'll put him ahead of Timp and a damn sight closer to Formula Danny, who we will assume is going to get a no-point scoring finish this week. So we've got a pretty exciting battle. This is obviously notorious where Lewis Hamilton lost the championship against Nico Rosberg in 2016. So
his engine blew in very dramatic style. But I mean, this will do Timp's confidence no end of good. I mean, he's had a pretty poor run of luck the last few rounds. But we've got a problem, and it is Rico Gordon, I think.
Yes, it is. He span it in the straight.
Well done.
And I've actually no to be fair, I think he span it off the exit of 15.
I looked away at the wrong moment. Topar's actually nailed Brendan. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, it's the Red Bull and Mercedes have swapped positions. Completely missed it, unfortunately. We were looking at what happened to Rico Gordon. As yellow's in sector 1, although we're not seeing anybody falling through the field. We don't know what that yellow flag is for. It's probably for Rico's ghosted car.
Yeah. I would have thought so. Right, yeah, that's Rico Gordon. He's a really quick driver. He's RS Falcon from the Xbox side a few seasons ago. He's a really quick driver. He just hasn't been able to get all up so far this season, but he has scored a few points, so he'll be hoping to score a few more points in that Ferrari. Now, Brandon has DRS on Topar. I don't think he's close enough, though. He's in the slipstream DRS, and he has no answer. So it's just Topar versus Tim.
Greco and Segro both come into the pits, and Segro, can't slow it down quick enough, so he's got himself a 5-second stop go. Now, what did they go on to? Is the game going to finally confirm that David Greco is not running on intermediate tyres? Let's see what happens here. He's going to go on to, surely it's going to be soft. No, apparently he's going on to winters again.
No, it is soft. it came up as soft on my screen now.
Oh no, it did change at the last minute to soft for me. So David Crockett is on the yellow mat soft, which makes sense for the remaining stint of the race. Let's jump back up to this battle with Brendan Lee. Oh, crikey, you just saw ACR Failure go very, very wide. Formula Danny now on a charge. Why not? May as well get the fastest lap if you're down there in last position. May as well get something for your time. That is Timp. You've just seen at the top of the shot. Topar is reeling him in, and that is not what Timp would have wanted to see. But Topar, of course, on those soft tyres, how much longer can they maintain this pace for? That is really going to be the question. The mediums will go to the end of the race. Sven is just gone. He's still 5 seconds in the lead, and that's probably the last we're going to see him, unless he has a big mistake and sticks it in the wall, which is highly, highly unlikely. But look at this, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in very, very short succession. There they are. Toro Rosso, Mercedes, Red Bull and Sauber. Not often you can say those four names in short succession in racing terms. But Topar has got the DRS on Timp. Let's see what he's able to do. Now 6 seconds separates second and third. and Tim not feeling the need to defend too hard, but Brendan is not closing in.
So if Topa makes it to the end, his lap tyres would be 20 laps old, which well, is pretty suboptimal, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say.
So yeah, it'll be interesting if they just fall off a cliff. Timp has no warnings or anything, and Topa has 2 warnings.
Oh, Brendan's
got himself a penalty.
Oh dear, oh dear. That's not good. That's going to drop it. I mean, Fader almost certainly is going to have to pit again, so that's not going to cost Brendan track position, but it is going to... Danny breaking the lap record again. Oh, Topa! Oh, that's a very long way off circuit. Don't do that too many times. You'll join yourself, add yourself to the list of penalties. Is Topa on softs on your screen?
He is on softs and on the race director, so I do...
Okay.
And he has got a little bit pace on Timp at the moment, but whether that's going to drop off, if it is going to drop off, I would have thought it will be dropping off in the next few laps.
Pretty soon. Yeah, that's what I would have thought as well. DRS open again on the Mercedes, but look how far back he is from Tim. So we saw Topa go wide on the exit of, I think it was the exit of 13, where he went a little bit too wide, so he would have had to have been a little bit careful. Oh, that was... that would be Fader coming into the pits, I would have thought. Yes, it was. Getting rid of those super soft tyres is going to drop him well away from this particular battle. Tim does position his car in the middle of the road to sort of make a vague defensive move. He doesn't have to defend too hard at the moment. But there's Brendan Lee keeping the pressure on, despite the fact he's got that penalty. Well, why not, I guess? You never know what will happen ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, Sven... I'm just looking at the results at the moment. If he wins this race, it'll be his first win since Austria, which was the second race. I'm going to do a quick calculation just as a bit of a fun fact. So
why not? At least you have the correct figures in front of you. My figures seem to be wrong. I forgot to update that panel. That's I have a number of panels that I update each week, and that's the one I clearly forgot to do. As we saw Brendan just run a little bit too wide, you can see the momentum that lost him on the back of Topa. Again, big lockup coming into turn 9, but that for Brendan, that could run the risk of dropping outside of DRS range, something that Tim wishes that Topa would do, as we have less than 10 laps to go. 4.5 seconds is the gap from Tim to Sven Zerner. Sven is backing off a little bit to just bring the car home. He knows he's got plenty enough gap to back off a little, and again, that's the gap between Topa and Tim. Every time they get to the DRS straight, Tim's got the traction he needs. Oh, and that's surely... that's Topa in the bits. I was going to say, at that angle... Ooh, don't run into the wall, Topa. That is going to bring an end to... That's going to drop Topa quite a way down, but that is exactly what Tim needed.
Yeah, it is. I doubt these medium runners are going to need to come in. A bit of a fun fact, if any of you are thinking about it, which you probably almost certainly weren't, if Sven had taken part in all the races so far this season, based on his statistics, he'd have 184 points. Along with this win, which would be what a best part of 200 points, pretty much 199. So he'd be right in the thick of the championship battle. So that's a bit of a fun fact.
He would, and of course that would be taking points away from others. So that would hypothetically be quite an interesting. Quite an interesting battle, as David Greco and Car Renegade are in the pits again, unfortunately. So Topa then on the super soft side, he has got 8 laps to run on the tires. I mean, he can just, qualifying lap. There's no rain anywhere to be found. Go on.
I've just seen Marcel Kiefer go unbelievably wide. I mean, he was driving towards China at that rate.
Oh dear.
That was not ideal off the exit of turn 8, which is so easy to do though. When you have a high-speed right-hander, it's so easy to go wide.
He's off to the airport already. So Marcel Kiefer then keeping the pressure on Impulsive Racer. Our pole sitter is looking to try and regain another few championship points. He got a podium last time out at Singapore. I think it's going to be a bit of a tall ask for him to repeat that. Brendan is outside of DRS range of Tim. Well, saying that he's right on the cusp of it. There is second and third, ACR Tim and Brendan Lee. So Brendan just about maintaining that, just staying within that second gap between himself and Tim. Tim is probably aware that he can maintain the gap fairly easily. so fairly easily. Sounds a little bit disingenuous, but he's got the pace and the tyre life to maintain that gap, so he's not having to push too hard to try and keep Brendan behind at the moment. But if Brendan feels he's got the tyre life, he can suddenly turn the wick up to get on with it and try and get a few more points out of the race. Marcel Kiefer in the next house is right with Impulsive Racer. Half a second separates those two. So how much life is in those soft tyres on the McLaren, I wonder?
Yeah, I mean, well, judging by Topar needing to come into the pits, I can't imagine too much. But it will be interesting to see if Impulse Racer can, you know, continue. He's gone a little bit wide there. He's got Marcel Kiefer behind him, and I think Marcel has a pace. Topar, interestingly, apart from going very, very quickly, if he can catch up to Nobody, then he's got a potentially straight run to 4th place.
Oh, Tim's made a mistake somewhere. Brendan's right on his case, just half a second. Now separates the two.
Oh no, you're right. Yes, it was 4.5 ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So yeah, Tim's made a mistake somewhere in that 3rd sector. He's now got his mirrors full of Red Bull, and Brendan and DRS open. Is he going to try and move on turn 1? He's gone for the racing line. Tim choosing not to defend. Is Brendan going to have a dive? He has a look, but he's going to be a little bit too far back to try something there. Bit of a lock up into turn 1, and on they go. Ooh, bit of a twitch there from Brendan's coming into 2, but Tim has got a lot of work to do, and that again is going to pretty much put pay to what a surprise, Topar with the fastest lap by a damn long way as well. So 32.8, that's come down nearly half a second, I think, from the previous fastest lap, which was
the fastest lap was very quick. I think the last fastest lap before that was something like a low 34. Before the 33 we saw earlier.
Look at this, Brendan Lee is really piling the pressure on ACR Tim. And there was me saying that Tim may well be confident he's got the pace to keep the Red Bull behind him. Brendan suddenly decided, no, I'm going to have a bit of fun now, and now really start pushing on. Oh my goodness me, that was a weird lag moment there. Either Tim trying to put Brendan off, or that was, I suspect there was a bit of a lag moment more than anything else. As it did look like Tim pretty much parked very literally in the middle of the apex of turn 12, I think it was.
Yeah, although sometimes it might be our side, not necessarily
true,
like the driver's side, so it might look quite smooth for the drivers, and hopefully it does. That's the important bit for those guys. Brandon's taking this wider line, and he seems to have got an okay exit, but I don't think he's going to have a pace down.
We will see, but he does. Oh, now it's going to be an opportunity. He's diving on the inside, but Tim again just manages to shut the door on Brendan Lee before he can commit to the inside of turn 1. This battle, it's probably going to last the next 5 laps. Topar again, 32.6 now is his fastest. That was Marcel Kiefer and Impulsive Racer have swapped position. So that particular battle I was trying to keep up with as well. The soft tyres on the McLaren are dead, it would seem. And as Marcel Kiefer has gained that 4th place, but still under pressure, and Topar is already on the back of ACR Nobody. That was a good 7 seconds last time I looked at it. He has got unbelievable pace on those super soft tyres. Hopefully it'll be able to last for the rest of the race. Brendan having to get out of it a little bit, otherwise he'll slam into the back of his. Toby's going to have a switchback on the inside of turn 9. Bit of wheel banging going on. Can Tim hold him off? Just about. Fair effort by both of them. Bit of contact though, although no harm done. And God, look at that. That is so close for Brendan to try and do something about it. Tim's heart must be up in his mouth at this point, trying to keep... Oh, that was a...
No, switchback by Tim. Very calmly done, but Brendan has the DRS now coming down this back straight. Is he going to be braking later? He has been for last. He's weaving left, right, catastrophically, and Tim goes miles ahead. Brendan isn't even... Oh no, he might have another look actually. I'm surprised Brendan's been able to keep onto the back of Tim coming up towards turn 1. Sergo's got a 3-second penalty. We don't much care about that at the moment. Brendan round the outside. He's going to now have the inside for turn 3. No, he isn't, because Tim has defended it off.
Well played by both drivers. Topar has actually claimed 6th position. He's already closing in on Impulsive Racer, so he could still bag 5th out of this particular race. Oh, and again, another look on the inside at turn 4, but Brendan Lee cannot complete that move. Timp is doing a brilliant job at defending that second position. Still got a fair way to go. It's a long way to go when you're defending that hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looks like Brendan just has the pace, but with all this battling, it means Sven has ran away now, literally. It was 4.5, it's now 6.6.
Oh,
Brendan having another look.
Oh.
It's the same wheel banging there. Is Brendan gonna let him have a position? Possibly not trying his hardest to...
He wasn't in a hurry to give that one back, but he does relent back into third position. Topar has just claimed 5th from Impulsive Racer. We're staying on this battle, but I'm keeping an eye on the timings.
Oh, Brendan again! Another move! The same thing. Tim hasn't got an answer. Brendan was able to overtake him on the inside of turn 13, pretty much identical to what he did last time out. So it's now it's Tim's turn to do the chasing.
But it does look. Oh, Brendan's very deep into turn 15.
Big mistake.
Yeah, Timp's going to have DRS on the run down to turn 1. Brendan's got the pace at the moment, side by side. And no, Tim's going to have to come back into line. Oh no, sorry, it was Brendan with DRS. It was him that was in the detection zone, wasn't it? As he parks it on the apex of turn 1. Very nicely done. 3 laps to go here in Malaysia. Topar he's almost certainly going to claim 4th. Yeah, I've just looked at the timings there. But wow, Brendan Lee with a pretty aggressive move. He actually nudged the front right tyre of Timp as he came through. Probably just to ensure that Tim couldn't make a switchback on him. So that was quite an aggressive move, but it has paid off for the Red Bull at the moment. Tim is trying his best to hang on, but it would seem that Brendan has got the pace to now start to run off into the distance.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the Topa Kiefer battle, and Topa clearly has the pace on the fresh, super soft compound tyres. He's pretty much he's having to brake mid-corner in some sections because he's that much faster.
Oh, he's going to try and get a switch back on the exit at 9. He's going to go around the outside. He's got Oh, what a move by the Mercedes. The Haas is still there. Nice. He took a couple of corners to do it through 10 and 11, but he has got it done. Topar, never a man to be discounted, and he now moves up to 4th to keep his championship charge alive.
Yeah, absolutely. That battling with Tim and Brendan was really beneficial for Topa, because now the points difference is not as significant as it would have been had he have finished 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, trouble in sector 2 and 3 apparently. Don't know who that was. Someone going for a bit of an excursion. Don't know who. No one's lost a position, so we can't check who that was. Now, Tim did have DRS on Brendan, but it seemed to be completely ineffectual. He didn't gain anything whatsoever. And yeah, Brendan's just got the pace. And whether Tim's got damage, we don't entirely know. But yeah, Brendan now has the opportunity to just run off. As we have yellows in sector 3. Again, we don't know why, unfortunately. Another close battle is actually failure on nobody. This is down to 7th and 8th as they come side by side. Out into turn 4. Oh, what a move by the Sauber. Put the Red Bull into a slightly awkward position, and he's capitalised on it. Again, the super soft tyres coming good for Failure. Very nicely done. He claimed 7th.
Yeah, so we've had battling throughout the whole of this race. It's been very exciting. Sven, though, what a performance by him. He's up 4 positions. He had an amazing start. He was behind not Formula Danny. Who was?
We lost Kalon. Oh, he's had a big problem somewhere. He's facing the wrong way. That is on the run down to turn 4. So that is the end of his race. What a shame.
It's disappointing from Kalon. I can't remember where he was before he had that incident, but I don't think it was.
He was out of the points. I think it was out of the points. Failure is having ACR Failure is already on the back of Impulsive Racer. Oh, as the Sauber goes very deep into turn 15, but that could give him a lovely exit from that particular turn. DRS open. He's already gaining on the McLaren. He's going to jump to the inside. That's going to be done long before they get to turn 1. ACR Failure up into 6th.
Just as we've got a little bit of time at the moment, I would like to say, if you are interested in joining any of these leagues yourself, head over to www.apexonlineracing.com, where you can sign up for F1, Project Cars, the Season 9 announcements are now out for the GT3 leagues. Go and head over and sign yourself up, and obviously subscribe to the official Apex Online Racing YouTube channel to see all the live streams and content.
And it's worth noting that the AOR YouTube channel has hit its 1,000th subscriber, so thank you to those that are supporting the channel. It is always very much appreciated. You can see what we all get up to here in the commentary box in this one central location for all platforms. And there we go, there's Failer and Marcel. And yeah, sorry, it was ATR Failer and Marcel Kiefer side by side. They were coming through turn 9. Again, the super soft tyres seeing the medium shot Marcel Kiefer down a position. Very nicely done. But it has to be said, and there he is. I just caught him in time. The winner of this race here in Sepang. And he's, what a lovely finish by the Renault of Sven Cerner. Very nicely done. Second is Brendan Lee. Great performance considering he's just done the Race Champions event. He was actually demoted. Of course, he had a 3-second penalty.
Oh, he did. Yes, you're right.
So Tib actually is given back that second position. Of course, that 3-second penalty can be contested, but at this point in time, ACR Tib is elevated up into second. Topar, what a stunning charge from him. 3.1 seconds down from Brendan in the end for fourth position. Failer, lovely finish for him in fifth position. Marcel Kiefer, fair effort for him in the Haas. Impulsive Racer, decent finish for him in the McLaren as well. Non-runner, good to see both Renaults actually in the points as well. Isaac Price in the Merc, 9th. ATR Nobody rounds out the points in the Red Bull. Segro in the McLaren just misses out in 11th. Formula Danny in 12th. This will be a race he will want to forget in a hurry. There's Fizzy in the Pink Panther. He is he's in that mixture somewhere. There he is in 13th with David Greco just coming across the line, and Car Renegade doing the same. The Car Renegade and David Greco were close with, I think Renegade actually lost it on that last turn. Well, what a race. Oh, was my game froze for a moment there?
Yeah, so did mine. Big shock, so is got to be David Greco and Formula Danny. They had awful races, but Sven, he was absolutely electric today. I mean, the pace he was able to continue and extend was pretty incredible.
Everybody opting for the same face, which always reminds me of Agent Sutil, which is apt considering that Sven Cerner is German. So look at that. Renault, Toro Rosso and Red Bull on the top spots, but fair play to our drivers. Sven was just untouchable all race long. Absolutely stunning effort, but ACR Timp really keeping Brendan, keeping him true. Well, final finishing positions. Mr. Hamish, take it away.
Sven Cerner in P1. What a result from him. ACR Timp able to gain that time on Brendan Lee because of his penalty. In fourth place, we have Topar. His pace at the end was unbelievable. He was catching up to the leaders by 2 seconds. Then we have Failer in fifth, Marcel Kiefer in 6th, Impulse Racer in 7th, Non-Runner in 8th, Isaac Price in 9th, and ACR Nobody rounding out your top 10. And he just squeezed in because Sergo got a penalty, so that didn't wasn't demoted.
And our fourth split for PC has had its champion crowned in the form of Smeed. Well played, sir. I've commentated on him a few times. He is an incredibly fast driver. Well played to you, sir. So some of the splits are having their champions crown, but it's got a long way to go as far as this race is concerned. Right, let's see who we can find for a chat.
Wow, that's pretty incredible, isn't it? Wrapping up the championship in Malaysia. Wow, that's
early.
With
5 rounds still to run. That is absolutely incredible. Very
good job from him. He's going to be getting a promotion next season.
We've got several drivers in the ready for interview box. Let's grab them in. I think it's pretty much our top runners are there. Let's grab them over them.
Do like save my tire.
Oops.
Hello.
Right, let's have a word with Timp then. What a charge for you. You are having a great old time fending off Brendan there for that. What would have been third position on track, due to on track penalties that demoted Brendan in the end. How was that for you?
I was so happy. That race was so stressful also, because, I mean, I guess I pitted 1 lap too early, because Brendan got like 5 seconds from me, like, so it was 1 lap too early, but it doesn't matter because I still was P2 after pit stops, and then like I just went like full pushing mode, and then on the like lap 23 I realized that my tires is not gonna go in the end if I keep up with driving like this. So then I just started like tire saving, and Brendan like got very close to me, and then he overtook me. But yeah, I mean the battle was awesome with him. But yeah, I'm really happy, and championship title is battle is on right now also. So yeah,
well, very much so. That lead
and,
is just been cut down to 15.
Yeah. Also, I pretty much did my best qualifying lap of this season. Like when I was on the lap, I was like begging on the last lap, last corner that please, I want to nail my last corner, please. and I even like go wide in the last corner, so I guess I lost P2 for that, but it doesn't matter. I'm just what a way to get in the podium since Hungary. Yeah, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, we were saying that that must be doing your confidence the world of good, as you've had some pretty mixed results for the last few rounds, but that really keeps your championship hopes alive somewhat.
Yeah, you're right. This is really helping my confidence and stuff like that.
Excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. We've also got Marcel Kiefer in the box with us. Now, Marcel, you've been with us only a very short period of time, but you've already managed to get on the podium and had some decent battle. Well, in quite a few races. How was that race for you?
First of all, I wanted to take a second to wish congratulations to Tim and also my teammate Brandon after the E-Rock.
Yep.
With just minimum amount of practice, that's insane. That just shows what a talent he is, and drive against him, it's so cool, and I'm happy for him that he could put on a race like that today and get a podium. Beside of that, my race was okay. The quali was pretty good.
Awesome.
Again, Sven, by my own fault. After that, I had a lag spike with Patrick. I didn't know what happened. It was some kind of situation like in Singapore with Tim, that he was just in front of me out of nowhere. My game shut down after the pit stop.
Oh no.
And it was my task list, so it was still running. But over that time, big frame drop, and I just went from P6 or something to P13 behind Secro and David Grego.
Oh, goodness.
That was my race, so I knew I need to finish on the mediums and had also at the end 80% tire wear on the rear tires, so yeah, I did
Well
all
played.
what I could do. I'm quite happy with that result, so...
Excellent.
that's all I have to say.
Good stuff, good stuff. Right, Brendan, are you able to talk to us? I know sometimes you have a bit of a microphone problem. So, Brendan, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. Well, one great effort for this race, even on its own. I mean, battling for second alongside Tim. Obviously, he's just been demoted due to that penalty. But it made even more spectacular considering you've only just kind of finished competing in the E-Rock series. You must be about ready to flop by now.
Yeah, in the last 48 hours, I've only had something like 4 or 5 hours sleep in between all the adrenaline from driving real cars. So it's been a pretty long race, and I'm looking forward to getting in my bed after it.
I bet. But, you know, great effort from you tonight as well, the E-Rock side aside for a moment. But so were you just kind of racing to see how well you did, or were you confident on being a front runner today?
It was really difficult to judge into actual qualifying session because I didn't set my clock properly, and so I thought it was 7:30 when the lobby was... Well, my clock said it was 7:30 when the lobby was starting, and suddenly I got an invite from Fizzy, so I didn't actually do a full race simulation. I didn't have time. I only got to like lap 20, then I had to join the lobby.
Wow.
So I was pretty nervous on the last load of laps, but somehow it came together. But I only did something like an hour and a half practice for this, so it was pretty mega to be able to come at the very end without any. That was just walk in the dark basically, and be able to have good pace. It was quite a confidence boost.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely top job effort there, Brendan. All factors considered, absolutely amazing stuff. I also want to have a quick word with Failure. Now, we haven't spoken to you for quite some time, but what an effort from yourself, particularly towards the end there. How was that race for you, sir?
I think it was the best race of the season for me, because Russia was P4, so in results it was better, but P5 today is just phenomenal. Practicing with Sven and Marcel Kiefer throughout the week, I thought, okay, my pace is not that bad this week, but that it actually is that good on Sunday, I would have never expected that. Actually, I was afraid of David Greco, because I think I should call him Yano Trulli from now on, because in Singapore I couldn't overtake him. Now I couldn't overtake him. And it was the period when it was about to dry out, and unfortunately, that sounds a bit weird, but unfortunately he was my teammate today, and so he would have had the first call coming to the pits, and so I wanted to overtake him, couldn't get that. And then I thought, okay, some people might pit for mediums, but I don't want that, and I think I can do 2 super soft runs, but I actually didn't have the pace over the soft runners like Topa, for example, in front of me. It didn't catch up quick enough, and then I saw Brenton on the mediums. I was like, okay, maybe the mediums were better, and I thought I screwed it up at that point. And yeah, the final stint was so much fun. I never had more fun racing here, overtaking Marcel Kiefer and Pulter Racer, non-runner, and I think Isaac as well. That was great fun.
Incredible stuff. It's nice to be able to speak to yourself. We don't often speak to you. Your season has been very, very mixed. So do you sort of see an upward trend in your results from this point on, Fader, or is it just taking it as it comes?
I have to take it as it comes. With a grid like this, it's absolutely unpredictable where you end up. And today, maybe Malaysia is a good track for me. I don't know. It seems so. So at the moment, I'm just happy. And then 2 weeks' time, I think now we have for practice for Japan. So I will definitely use that and prepare, and maybe I can beat that then.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Right, we are going to have to round out, I think, at this point. Just double checking if Sven was looking to try and jump on to Discord.
Sven has no mic.
So that's not able to interview the race winner for today, but that just leaves me to thank our incredible drivers for what an amazing show you have put on for us. And thank you to you, Hamish, for joining me in the commentary box. As always, a great, great pleasure.
No worries.
Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream. It is a great pleasure having you in chat. And also another shout out again to the subscribers to the channel. We have hit the 1,000 mark. Thank you very much. We appreciate all the support you give us. If you wanted to get involved in our leagues, head over to www.apexonlineracing.com. Sign up, get involved. You may have lunatics like me shouting about your progress. Let's round out today with a bit of Cannonball Run, as been requested again. Thank you very much to those that have been with us, and we will see you right back here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.